Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 21st of April 2018 and we're going to reflect on John chapter 6 verses 60 to 69. Listen. When many of his disciples heard it, they said, "This teaching is difficult. Who can accept it?" But Jesus, being aware that his disciples were complaining about it, said to them, "Does this offend you? Then what if you were to see the Son of Man ascending to where he was before? It is the Spirit that gives life, the flesh is useless. The words that I have spoken to you are spirit and life. But among you there are some who do not believe." For Jesus knew from the first who were the ones that did not believe and who was the one that would betray him. And he said, "For this reason I have told you that no one can come to me unless it is granted by the Father." Because of this, many of his disciples turned back and no longer went about with him. So Jesus asked the 12, "Do you also wish to go away?" Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, to whom can we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have come to believe and know that you are the Holy One of God." The Gospel of the Lord. Today's passage is a continuation of yesterday's, where Jesus says, "Very truly I tell you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you." His disciples didn't quite like what he said, and if we are honest, we will admit that there are many times when we don't like what Jesus says. There are times when we find his words bizarre, confusing, or just plain offensive. One statement, of course, is this one that we just looked at. Eat his flesh, drink his blood? Really? Another is when he asked a disciple to follow him to receive the reply, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." But Jesus says to this guy, "Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead." You'll find that in Matthew 8:21. A third instance is when Jesus said, "Whoever comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and even life itself, cannot be my disciple." That's Luke 14:26. Hate? After all his talk about loving even those who torment us, Jesus wants us to hate those who are close to us? And then he goes on to say, "So therefore, none of you can become my disciple if you do not give up all your possessions." That's verse 33. And do what? Become a hermit? Yet another example can be found in Matthew 10:34, where Jesus says, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword." What was that then about the stuff he said about peace? "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you." That's John 14:27. Is not Jesus contradicting himself? I'm sure that you can find several other hard sayings of Jesus that leave you speechless. And you might be tempted to walk away, just like most of his disciples did over here, because they were offended by what Jesus said. But why don't you, instead of walking away, take a little time to reflect upon what Jesus says, asking him to explain what he meant. And if you really are interested in knowing the truth, trust me when I say to you, he will reveal it to you. Reflect upon that today. God bless you.